Hey, it's Kristen. I'm here at the schoolhouse again. I was here on Friday cleaning, and I just wanted to mention it's a good thing I did because we had somebody booked for Friday night at Friday night. So that ended up working out very well. They booked through Airbnb. And so I'm here to talk a little bit about Airbnb for anyone who thinks they might want to join and start listing their house. I have recently become an Airbnb ambassador, which means I'm going to try to help people put their houses for up as listings on Airbnb. And the benefit to that is we've been doing this. We actually joined Airbnb in 2011, which means we've been Airbnb hosts for 10 years. And we've been doing vacation rental a little bit before that, because before Airbnb came, we had been doing it on our own. Back then, we used to send out invoices by email, and we would get checks back in the mail. And then VRBO was the primary rental online, short-term rental, STO they call them, when we started then. But Airbnb came onto the market. We started, like I said, in 2011, and they've grown wildly since, and now Airbnb is most certainly the way that we get the most of our bookings. By far, the most come through Airbnb. So what is it like to host people? So we have a couple different houses here. We don't live as a primary residence in any of these, although we did help one family that did use the house quite a bit, rent their house, and then we have two other people who use the house sometimes and rent the house sometimes. So the beauty of that is that if you did want to spend some time in the house and only wanted to rent it part-time, the calendar is so easy to block and unblock. You just literally click the buttons and say block the dates, and then you can be there then. Or maybe you only want to, rent the house a week or two to cover your taxes, or to make a little bit of extra money to save for a vacation yourself. It's a great way to do that if that's something you're interested in. If you are thinking about purchasing a second home, and maybe you're not ready to live in that. Maybe you're going to purchase a retirement home, say, in a place you want to live, but you found something you love right now. It could be a good balance in the middle of covering the costs of a house you can only stay in part-time for a little while until you get in place where you're ready to live there full-time. Again, blocking and unblocking the calendar is very easy. What other questions? And if there's somebody who's watching and they want to pop in a question, I can certainly answer those as we go through. I'm just trying to think of some of the things that we've run into. The way the booking process works, if you've never used Airbnb, is you create a profile. You have to have a profile photo. You have to upload an ID, I believe, is mandatory now, and you have to give some kind of contact information. What you get as the host is the person's first name, and that they have been verified, but you don't receive photos or anything like that until after the booking is completed. And contact information, all communication is through the Airbnb app, but sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So when you're going to book, so you've created your account, and you've verified some information, you put in a credit card, and Airbnb does all of this verification process first. In fact, a couple days ago, we had somebody who was new to Airbnb, and they were just getting their listing started, and Airbnb didn't even send us the inquiry until they had all those pieces lined up. They said, somebody's inquired, we'll send the information to you once we finish authenticating this review. Their algorithm is very good on picking up on spam. We get a lot of spam emails through the VRBO, people looking just, I don't even know what, because thankfully that hasn't happened to us yet, knock on wood. But the Airbnb knows immediately if somebody's trying to communicate with you, trying to pull a scam. So their algorithm is very good. Usually all the inquiries you're getting are valid. So they would look at dates that are open on your calendar, and somebody would submit, I would like to stay at your house, checking in Wednesday, checking out the next Wednesday if they want to stay a full week. They can message you first with any questions. You can message back and forth on the app to clarify anything. If you want to ask them any questions about, like, why are you coming, or, are you familiar with the area, or anything like that. You can go back and forth through the app. You have the choice to accept the booking or decline the booking. If you can also set different parameters for who can do an instant book. So the way that we have ours set is that if somebody has already stayed at a property and has like a 5-star review from one of the other hosts, they're granted immediate booking capability, so they could just go in and say, I want to stay Wednesday to Wednesday, and book the house right there without getting prior approval from me. You don't have to do that, and we don't do that on all of our listings, but you can if you want to, because some people do look for that. They want the ease of knowing the dates that they've picked are going to be accepted. Some people look around and they inquire on a bunch of properties before they pick one. So either way, it's completely up to you. If you do accept the booking and then you communicate with the guest a little bit more, and for some reason something is making you uncomfortable, you are allowed to cancel the booking after it's been booked. We are Airbnb superhosts, which means that they have certain criteria that are set. I don't remember the exact metrics, but it's, being responsive to messages. It's not having a lot of cancellations, and it's having good reviews. And again, they're all percentages, but they do it by quarter, I believe. So every quarter you would get a chance to become a super host, and they'd send you, and then it's either 2 quarters or 4 quarters, you get like a little bonus. So they give you money you can spend for an Airbnb stay yourself, which is always nice. And then we've gotten over the years little things from them. We got a hand towel they sent us once, and we got a journal once for various things that I can't remember exactly why. One was communication with one of the guests or something. So that's a little bit about the process of how somebody would book your house. Again, it's based totally on what your availability is. And like I said a little bit before, am now an Airbnb Ambassador. So in order to qualify for that, you would click on it. There's a link that they've given me that I'll put in the comments after if anybody's interested to check it out. And the nice thing about that is once you have somebody stay, they'll give you a little bit of a bonus dollars, a little bit more money for having used this Airbnb Ambassador program. And I also get a little bit of bonus dollars for that as well. So that brings me to how we do payments on Airbnb. So Airbnb handles all the money. They accept the payments from the guests. They hold the money their own selves until after the guest checks in. Say checking in on a Friday. Usually, almost all of the time, we get a payout on the Saturday, like the next day after the guest checks in. Airbnb collects fees from the guests. They also collect the taxes. Here in Rhode Island, we have a 8% sales tax, 7% goes to the state, and 1% goes to the town that the house is located in. Airbnb handles all of the taxes, which I tell you was amazing when they started doing that, because it's sometimes difficult to keep track of the taxes and such. So the Airbnb pays out the taxes to the town and to the state, and they pay you whatever the percentage is. There is no cost to list on Airbnb. It is free to list your house, no matter if you're going to rent the house the whole year or if you only want to rent 1 week out of the year. It is completely free to list. They take a certain percentage of the booking as their payment. So I think that does vary based on the house and such, but it is a very reasonable rate for, again, the amount of people that are going to be able to look at your listing and find you. And now that they're doing the taxes, it's very cost effective. I thought of something that I was going to mention that I've now lost. So anyway, I would highly recommend it. Like I said, we've been 10 years with Airbnb. We have all of our homes are listed on Airbnb, and that's our primary. When we listed our newest house, we did put it on our own website, and we put it on Airbnb, and we didn't even bother on VRBO because we had such a great response from Airbnb that it wasn't necessary. What do you have to do to list your house on Airbnb? That's relatively easy too. They guide you through it step by step. You'll want to take some pictures. You don't have to hire a professional photographer, although I have to say we did have a professional photographer come and take some pictures at our house here in Little Compton this week. And she kind of did a little post about the difference between having iPhone pictures like I had at the listing and what you can have with a professional photographer. So certainly if you have especially a higher end listing, it might be worth the money to pay somebody to come and take some photos for you that can, take professional photos. Or I've taken photos with my iPhone and I've done fine with that as well. So you just want to make sure you take nice, clean photos. The house is clean, not cluttered when you're taking the photos, that it looks appealing, that it's, when you look at the pictures, you say, oh yeah, that's the place I would like to stay. So you take some photos, you'll write a description about the listing, you'll give specifics on what's in the house, what kind of beds, what kind of bathrooms. You can link the pictures specifically to those different rooms, pictures of the outside space. They'll ask you lots of questions. It's usually just a list, and you click on the things that you do have and leave things blank that you don't. They have postings in there about the local laws because I know the rules in Rhode Island, but I'm sure they're different everywhere. And certainly, if you're not in Rhode Island and you're thinking about Airbnb, I would love to help you no matter where you are, because I think the Airbnb platform is pretty similar probably all over the world. We have rented over in Europe and had great results there as well. So I certainly would love to help anybody set up their profile and get you started. If you have specific questions on how the whole process goes, we've learned quite a bit. We've hosted people from all over the world, long stays, short stays. Again, you can set that as well. We have different stay lengths based on the houses. The smaller houses that are easier to clean, we do maybe a 1 or 2 night minimum. The bigger houses, we do maybe a week. But you can set it for however you want. You can set the length of time. You can set that yes, you would accept a same day booking, or no, you want to wait a day. So like you couldn't have the 6 p.m. booking arriving at 6 p.m. like I had on Friday. You could set that to be that. You could set, what else can you define? Really pretty much anything. You really have a lot of control over how you want to accept guests. You can offer last minute discounts. You can offer early bird discounts. You can offer monthly discounts. You can, the monthly thing is something they've really increased after COVID. And there was a lot of people that were choosing to stay at places for longer periods of time, which is certainly something that we met a lot of really great people last year. And we had, so that is something that is a newer listing, and the way that they advertise your house for you is different. They have like different buckets. Like it used to be like a work from home or family stays or long-term stays, and they'll kind of highlight different areas or different things that you feel that your house is good for. You'd have to tell them, like the working one, you'd have to have like good Wi-Fi and a desk space that works, and so there's certain criteria they'll ask you, and if you meet all those criteria, they will add a like safe for families kind of button to your page. Maybe something else I was just thought of too, and I can't remember right now, so sorry about that. But again, I think that, it's very flexible. If it's something you want to try out even just briefly, like I said, it really only takes a couple minutes to set up the listing. You could try it out, have a guest or two, decide, yeah, I really like this, I'd like to keep going, or no, this is definitely not my cup of tea, and you can, take your listing down or block your calendar. So it is something, you're not committed to anything, even if you tried it now, we're in March, and you had somebody book for July, but in May you had somebody come and say, I really don't like this. You can always cancel that July booking. Like I said, we try not to do that like ever, but there are certain circumstances where sometimes, that might happen. So again, please reach out if you want any information about Airbnb or listing or anything. I'd love to help you. And as part of this new Airbnb Ambassador program that they've launched, I am was selected to be one, so I would love to help you start your own Airbnb listing, and welcome to the Airbnb family. Thanks. Have a great day.